Ragnar said confidently, "You are the eldest son of the Wu family. How many girls from big families line up for you to choose them? Although Warnya looks good, the strength of the Song family is much worse than ours. Father Song must be anxious to marry Warnya to you." "Really?" Roger said in surprise. "According to what you said, Elder Song will definitely agree?" Ragnar smiled indifferently, and said confidently, "Son, in Orus Hill, which woman do you want to marry? It's not possible to marry yet. You can see Warnya. It is the luck of the Song family. In the final analysis, this matter is theirs. Keep your spirits high." As he said with an arrogant look, "Believe it or not, when it comes to the Song family, when I mention this, Mr. Song will immediately agree." Roger immediately smiled and blurted out, "Dad, let's go over now." Ragnar smiled slightly and said, "You are also the eldest son and grandson of the Wu family anyway. How come you are so uncomfortable when you meet Warnya? You have no prospects at all." After speaking, Ragnar exhorted, "When we arrive at the Song family, you must put on a high attitude to let the Song family understand that marrying Warnya to you is a high level, understand?" "Understand." At noon, Song's house. Ragnar and Roger carefully selected some gifts before the father and son rushed to the Song family. Mr. Song already knew that they had come to Orus Hill, and knew that their younger generation had encountered something, so he didn't expect that they would come to visit home so soon. However, since the eldest son and eldest grandson of the Wu family are here, Father Song is naturally very polite and comes out to entertain the two in person. Ragnar and Roger sat in the guest seats. Song Old Master sat opposite. Boy Yu poured tea and water for everyone, and was very busy. Ragnar presented a lot of gifts, and then he put his hands together and smiled and said, "I haven't seen Uncle Song for a long time. I didn't expect Uncle Song to be so strong. It's really enviable." Father Song smiled slightly and said, "My body can't be said to be strong. At best, I have a little self-care ability, and I won't die for a while." Ragnar hurriedly said, "Uncle Song, you are really humble." After speaking, he said, "Uncle Song, I heard that you were ill, but this time you look radiant. It seems that you are in good health?" Old Master Song smiled bitterly and said, "At first I thought I was great, but today I suddenly realized that I am far from great." Ragnar was a little surprised when he heard it, and asked, "Uncle Song, how is that not great?" Grandpa Song smiled slightly and sighed, "It's really good to return to the state of the body more than 10 years overnight." When he said this, Mr. Song thought of Tianqi, who subverted his cognition today and shocked him extremely. When he returned from the clinic, he had never forgotten about it, even brooding about it. Whenever he can meet such an opportunity, he will not let it go waste. However, Ragnar didn't know that he had gone through this, and thought he was joking when he said this, so he smiled and echoed, "As the saying goes, there is a day when flowers bloom again, and people will never be young again. Uncle Song, you want to be young." "I have the same wish, but unfortunately, this is just a wish after all and it cannot be realized." Mr. Song smiled indifferently and didn't say much. Ragnar felt that it was impossible to achieve it because he had never seen a real dragon like Mr. Wade in the world. Therefore, there is no need to talk to him on this issue. So Father Song asked him, "By the way, Ragnar, with your second son, what's the situation now?" Ragnar sighed, and said, "It's still the same, all methods have been used, but there is still no progress. I have sent him back to Suzhou." Speaking of this, Ragnar said again, "The reason why Roger and I have not left is to find out why my second son became like this. I suspect that he was wronged, and it is very likely that he was sent to this condition deliberately. The strong psychological suggestion might even be related to the witchcraft of lowering the head in Southeast Asia. I wonder if Uncle Song knows, does Orus Hill have any good hands in this method?" Grandpa Song shook his head and said, "I have only heard of the witchcraft-like thing you said, but I have never seen it before, and I can't even determine whether it is true or not." Ragnar said earnestly, "These things are actually true, but they are all sidelines. Most people who use this method are small people, or desire to become rich or gather a crowd. People, like our big families, generally disdain to engage in such things. Mr. Song nodded and said, "Big families believe in feng shui, fate and gossip of the Book of Changes. This is the essence passed down by our Chinese ancestors. As for the dregs in Southeast Asia, I really don't look at it admiringly." Regnar said, "From this point of view, there is really no clue. In this case, it may not be easy to find the man behind the scenes." After that, Regnar clasped his fists and said, "Uncle Song, Roger and I are going to stay in Orus Hill for a few more days. We will check for relevant clues. I don't know if Uncle Song is inconvenient to arrange for us to stay in your house for a few days?" The old Master Song smiled and said, "The Song and Wu family are also considered family friends. How can this little thing be polite? Since you are here, I will naturally do my best to be a landlord. Later I will let the servants to arrange things for you in the guest room. You just live in it. The Song family's villa is just a mansion. There are more than a dozen rooms on the first floor, and there are as many as 8 guest rooms in the house. It's so easy to arrange for the Wu family and his son to live temporarily.